So I can sense that a lot of you are pretty deep into the camp. Actually, let's try the reverse. Raise your hand if you don't know shit about Andrew Yang. Let's try that. It's okay. So most of you have been pretty deep into the campaign. I'm not going to go through like the customary message, though I will say I've been preparing for the debates because I'm one of the candidates who made the Democratic Party. And so I've done the math, and I'll have approximately 7 minutes of airtime. and so because of the 7 minutes of airtime, I've then studied and being like, okay, I'm going to maximize each of those 420 seconds. So it's going to be like slam, slam, slam. So it's not really like that much of a debate. You know what I mean? And so I've been preparing for that, and I'm not going to go through like my stump speech and the talking points here for you all because I have a feeling most of you have seen the speech online or you know more about the campaign. So I want to bring you guys inside to actually the campaign strategy, where we're heading, what the trajectory is. And the campaign is going so well, it's awesome. So I qualified for the debates in June and July in Miami and Detroit. And I am going to be the first Asian American so we're making some history, but just like a good immigrant, we're getting greedy. Where it's not enough to make the debate stage in June and July. We're gonna be like, oh shit, we can win this whole thing. So the next debates are in September and October, and the DNC released the qualifications for those debates in September and October. And they're almost tailor-made for this campaign. Qualification number 1, 130,000 individual donors. And how many are we at right now?
110.
We're like 114,000 right now. So you think we get 130,000? Do you think we get 130,000? Of course we can. Yeah, like this route could get us to 130,000 if we felt like it. I know that's true. And then the second qualification is the campaign needs to be polling at 2% or higher in 4 polls between June 28th and Labor Day. So there are only some things we can control for that, but we're already polling at between 1 and 4% depending upon the state and the poll. And so if we grow at all, we're going to be able to knock that requirement out pretty easily. So I'm going to be not just in the June and July debates, as long as we execute it even competently, I'm going to be one of the top 10 or 11 candidates who's in the September and October debates. Yeah, again, greedy. Right? Greedy. And it's almost like the DNC is putting out these requirements in a way that advantages our campaign. Because some of the other campaigns are really struggling to get 65,000 donations. I don't know if you've seen this. And then they freaked out that the bar just went up to 130,000 2 months later. They're like sweating bullets trying to get to 65,000. They're like, how the heck am I going to get to 130,000? And so that's the state of the campaign. And I'm going to let you guys in on some inside baseball, what the plan is. So the plan is for us to knock out that requirement, qualify for the debates in the fall, and then start getting the knives out a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Because at that point, then I'm assured of being in the debates all through the fall, and then it's like, ooh, they like now we can start getting a little more aggressive, shall we say? Because we've always known that this is a high variance campaign, and you know what I mean. We've already cleared a lot of the lower level outcomes. But I have zero interest in trying to jockey for a spot in the Joe Biden administration, if you know what I mean. So that's when the high variance stuff's going to start to come out. And so letting you guys know, so it's going to be positive, congenial, playing ball, good team player, until we get that 2%. And then, the bathhouse is going to turn around. So the ways we get to this 2%, I'm on the West Coast in large part to see you all, because I love you all. But also we're heading to LA to do Bill Maher. So that's going to be a great opportunity. And then we're going to Iowa for this Hall of Fame dinner on Sunday, which has 9 candidates, including me, and a bunch of the good ones. So it's Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg and Cory Booker and some of like the higher level ones. What's fun, I'll give you guys also some insight into this. So when you do events in Iowa and New Hampshire and several presidential candidates show up, sometimes it's like, frankly, the lesser lights. Like we show up and it's like me, Eric Swalwell, and all these other folks. Really, like, I mean, he's probably some of your congressmen. He's a very nice guy. And then there are the other events where it's like the tier one. And so this is one of the tier one ones where like the Iowa Democratic Party was very, they screened pretty hard. So I'm going from the west from LA to Iowa and then back to LA to do Pod Save America.
Yeah!
And then some other stuff that's not made public yet. The Daily Show reached out, so it looks like I'm doing the Daily Show. And then also, we're not allowed to talk about this, but who cares? I'm also booked on Stephen Colbert a little bit later. So you can see very clearly the mainstream media is discovering me in the campaign. June's going to be a big month. NBC, New York Times, the Washington Post is doing a front page. So I didn't even know the Washington Post magazine existed. But this man's getting the full cover treatment. I'm going to be on the cover on June 14th. So you know all those politicos in the Washington area are going to open up their Sunday paper and be like, who the hell is this guy? On the cover, the Manhattan, the rest of it. So June's going to be an enormous month in terms of media. It's going to culminate in this debate, June 26th, June 27th. How many of you guys are going to have a debate watch party for this debate? And then we looked at it, between 11 million and 24 million Americans watched the Fox versions of these debates last cycle. So that's a fairly decent standard as to how many Americans are going to watch. And the vast majority of Americans are not like you all. They have no idea who's running for president in 2020. You know what I mean? It's one reason why, let's call him Joe Biden, is like doing so well. Is that like most no one is paying any attention. And so right now it's just like a proxy for name recognition. And one of the things I say to folks is that if you turn the clock back to 2015, who was leading in the Republican field this time, that cycle?
Jeb Bush.
Jeb with an exclamation point, that's right. Jeb. Jeb was going to be the leader, and then Donald Trump came on the scene, and he was not taken seriously when he first arrived. He was like 1-2%. And then, like here we are. And so this current state of affairs in the Democratic field is going to be very fluid, let's put it that way. And so we're looking very, very strong through June to knock out this debate at the end of June, have another debate in July, get those polling numbers, and the media snowball is just building. Like, because you know how the media works. As soon as Stephen Colbert books you, then like every other late show is like, oh, like, let's have him on too. That guy's pretty cool. And then it'll just keep on rolling. So that's the summer. And then we start letting it all hang out, make the fall debates, be one of the top 10 candidates. And as we get through each threshold, more and more support's going to come this way because our message is so distinct from the other candidates. Am I right?
Yes,
So we can see it. All the indicators are heading straight in the right direction, but it would not be possible without people like you buying in early. You all are what I call early adopters. Early adopters are the best. How many of you had this experience where you bugged friends about Andrew Yang, and they've been like, yeah, whatever, and then they came back to you later and were like, oh yeah, that guy. You know what that feeling is? That's the early adopter feeling. And I love you for it. Because it's the early adopters that make great things possible. But we're about to go from early adopter to early mainstream to total mainstream. And it would never be possible without you all. So in terms of our immediate goal, right now, as you probably know, our goal is to raise $3.5 million in Q2. Thank you all for contributing tonight. You all are awesome. We have a ways to go to get there, but we can do it. Because as I said, all this June press is going to kick in, and we're going to have a few days after the debates, after I crush it, to raise some serious points. Because between 11 million and 24 million Americans are going to tune into the debate that day, and they're going to say, who is the Asian man standing next to Joe Biden? And then they're going to Google, Asian man is standing next to Joe Biden. It's gonna say Andrew Yang. They're gonna be like, holy shit, I heard something about this guy. He wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. That's real? We can do that? This man's gonna get my vote. And then the Yang Yang's gonna take it all. So thank you all very much.